I am going to talk this morning to share this morning what I was pondering in my heart, asking the Lord. I'm sorry about my tardiness, but I, was just trying to get some things together within my spirit this morning. I was asking the Lord this once, like, which direction, and so I requested that y'all be in prayer for me to just actually cover me and all, because past few days has been very, very, very intense for me. It's been a lot that's been going on. Some things have just aggravated me and all, so I just really, really, really needed the prayers, and I need y'all to continue to pray. So I'm not asking you to let up. I'm actually requesting that you please continue the prayer that is going on, because I am of the persuasion within my mind that there has to be something that is about to happen. I'm just believing that there is some type of major breakthrough that is going on, and there could be a possibility of the enemy desiring that I miss something, and also that is why so much is happening. So I really need y'all as intercessors to stand in, to to just really cover me. Just throw my name out there. You usually throw it out there, but just throw it and pitch it a little bit more because of what is going on. So what I want to talk to y'all about this morning is I'm going to call this, as the Lord has laid it on my heart, to call this the journey to freedom. The journey to freedom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move about as according to the Israelites, how things actually happen for them on their journey to freedom, because I do believe that we're on a journey to freedom. And when I say a journey to freedom, I tell you what, man, y'all, godly Tabitha Brown just came within my spirit. As soon as I said that, may the Lord bless Tab, and may the Lord continue to keep Tab. And Tab just hit my spirit. I don't know if y'all have seen, Tab, and the things that has happened for Tab over the last 5 to 6 years, and what happened. And so you got a young lady at that, because Tab, I'm actually older than Tab. I think Tab and Chance are about 45 now, somewhere around in that age. But God just drastically, some things happened for her. This lady was really in a bad place, even medically, concerning some things. She was actually drawing disability because they medically deemed her as just not able to sustain a job. And also she caught a little job driving Uber, and in the midst of driving Uber, she went in Whole Foods and got a sub, and went live and went viral, and life has taken off for her and her family just from that place. So the Lord brought her in my spirit. I do solicit him for her this morning, but also to say that God has a way of doing things, and there is a journey to freedom. And I do believe that we are on a journey to freedom. I really believe that. I'm sorry if some of you may think you're already at this place of freedom, and God bless you. I'm not gonna knock you for that, but there are those of us that know that there is something major that has to break through for us, that there is a turn of events that yet needs to happen for us, that there is breakthrough that we are yet believing God to happen for us, and there is a journey in order to get to this place, because you start out on this path, and then there are obstacles that come while you're on this path to try to keep you from getting to the desired destination of this path. Now there is a promise for you. It's pretty much like when you see a maze. That's the only thing I know to equate it as right now. If God gives me something else, then I'll share that. But as a maze, and if you've ever looked at a maze, as a matter of fact, man, let me see if I can let me see something right here. Let's see if I can So how about if I do something right here, right quick, like, let's go right here, and I'm going to pull this up on my screen to let y'all see it. Oh Lord, I'm gonna take one that I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna try let me see if I can pull it. All right, so let's get this one right here. Let's see if we can get this one. I'm gonna pull up a picture right here of a maze. Jesus Christ, we don't move. Look here. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I want y'all to look at that one. Lord, can I get somebody with me to say, please don't let that be my maze? Not that one, Lord. Please, not that one. Not that one. I'm gonna go to this one right here. It's tough too, but so, all right, so this is what I want to do. I want to open y'all up to bring you into this place with me. And so, Father, I bless you this morning. I feel the Holy Spirit. The Master is in the midst. Okay, so look, check this out. Y'all see this maze right here, and I want y'all to tell me exactly, being honest, tell me exactly what you see, each of you, when you see this maze. What is the thing, the first word, the thought that comes to your head when you see this maze? Go. Hold up. Y'all gotta wait a minute. Try to get it one at a time. Try it again.
Shifts and turns.
What kind of stiffs and turns?
Shifts and turns. There's a lot of turns and shifts.
Oh, shifts and turns. Okay, we got shifts and turns. All right.
Complicated but can be managed.
All right, complicated but can be managed. All right.
Some obstacles, but you can get through the obstacles.
All right, obstacles but can get through. Okay.
Wrong way and then. Go ahead.
Different directions and obstacles.
All right. Different directions and obstacles. Go ahead.
Wrong ways and dead ends if you don't go the right path.
All right. Wrong ways and dead ends. All right. Anybody else? All right. I may have everybody that's in here. Say that again. Your phone breaking up.
Blind spot. Like, you definitely hit blind spots. It's going to be times where the destination is not in clear view.
Okay. All right.
And I'll add, you got to work to get to where you're going. There's some work there.
Okay. All right. So, would y'all agree that you see strategy?
Most definitely.
Amen. Yes. Mind-boggling. It'll boggle your mind. You really have to use your brain. It'll make your brain go to work to come up with, like you said, with a strategy to get out of here.
All right. So, would y'all look at it, and anybody, can y'all see complicated?
No, I don't see complication because I kind of always like doing mazes. The ones that get complicated was that first one that you show or the other one you show, but I don't see complicated.
Okay. I want each one of y'all to remember what you're saying now. I want you to remember what you're saying because you are what you eat.
I can see complication.
All right. Okay. Because you are what you eat. Even the ones of you that said, you looking at it and you see it, it can be accomplished. You are what you eat. I'm not discouraging you. Don't take what I'm saying as discouraging. But what I'm saying to you is you are saying these things, so the Lord is going to hold you to that. He's going to hold you to that. No, don't retreat. Don't retreat. Don't retract anything back that you said. You said it. That's why I always tell y'all, you know what I'm saying, to come from a place of honesty.
It was an honesty because I've done mazes like that before, and I enjoyed it. I didn't find it as complicated.
You may not. And that is the exact way you need to treat life.
Got it.
So he's going to hold you to what you say. Remember, a man is snared by the words of his mouth. So he's going to hold us to what we say concerning things. That's why I asked y'all to tell, what do you see in this? What do you see in this? It doesn't need to be said from a place of trying to be impressive. It needed to be said from a place of, I see complication. Whoa, I see it's not hard. I already can see a path. Somebody can already see a path. I can't, but somebody can already see a path. You say it from the position to which you sit, and you say it from a position of honesty, because that is the place as to where you meet God. Now, this is the thing about it with this maze. Someone designed this maze. And the person that designed this maze has the answer for this maze, right or wrong.
Great.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Yes.
So then, we're looking at the maze because we didn't design the maze. So we're looking at the maze. And it looks to us, there were multiple things that y'all said that this maze looked like. Some of you was like obstacles, shifts and turns, and, complicated but can be accomplished. That is the position that we see it because we wasn't the one that designed it. Are you following me so far?
Yes.
Because we were not the ones that designed it. But just so happened, how about you got the phone number and you got the address and you got direct contact to the one that designed this maze? Would you still be scared of it?
No, ma'am.
No, because I got my own navigational card.
So why are you scared of life?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, Lord, because you ain't making contact with the person who orchestrated it.
That's right.
Why are you afraid of situations and circumstances? Why do we allow them to bog us down when we got direct access to the one that designed the maze? I told y'all this is the journey to freedom. The journey to freedom. Journey actually means to travel. So in order for this maze to be completed, there are some traveling that has to take place because it is getting from one destination to the other. The Israelites were journeying from one place to another, which is the same thing that we are doing, journeying from one place to another. But what we have to understand is we have direct access to who has designed this thing called life. And when you look at it, it just looks like this is a whole bunch of lines, and you can see the turns, and looks like some of the lines are upright and some of the lines are down. It looks like it takes you into all different angles, and it does. You can see if you start over in this right corner over here, it looks like you're going to go up. First thought, if you start in the first corner is that you're going to go up and then over to the left and then back over to the right, then go up a little bit more, then move up. So then it looks like it turns into a staircase where you are moving, in a staircase. And also, if you can see my cursor right here, so I'm going to go back right here. If you look in this right corner, I'm going to go down. Now, this is how I would start this. I'm going to go down, come up, go over to the right, then go up a little bit more, come back over to the left, then go over to the right, come up. See, I'm staying up against this wall. And then I'm going to go up, and then here go a staircase. I'm hitting a staircase. All right, and I'm steady moving. Now, I done already got a chance to look over here. So I'm looking and seeing that if I go over here, I'm stuck because there's nowhere else for me to go. So I already peeped and seen that. That's what you call discernment. Do y'all understand what I'm saying to you? That's what you call discernment. See, when I got along right in here, I didn't just go to the right. I peeped over to the right and saw that this was going to be a dead-end place. There ain't no need of going that way. That's discernment. See, discernment will show you whether you need to move in a particular way or you don't. So I'm not even going to try that move right there. So what I'm going, and then I look and I see that I don't need to move right here to the left because, look, I can't go nowhere. If I went to the right, now the Bible says turn not to the left nor to the right, just to interject that in now. I see that if I went either one of those ways, I wasn't going to be able to go. So evidently, I'm going to have to come and go back down in here. Look at him. Y'all see me having to go back? Do y'all see me having to go back?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm having to come. I'm having to go back now because I done made some wrong turns. And I'm going to come to this staircase right here. This first staircase. Let's try it going in here. See if it's any exit. I don't see. See, I don't see. I'm at another dead end. I'm at another dead end. Believe it or not, y'all. This is how life is. I'm going to pull this thing out, come back down. Now I'm going to try this route right here to see how far this route is going to let me go. I at least look at that. I done made it over here to this other side. Y'all see that? I got over here to this other side.
You sure not going in the right direction? Cause I think, hold on, I thought I went to the center. I thought I had made it, but I can't map it like you can.
Say, I made it over here to this other side. But what I'm trying to do is get up here to this to this left corner right here. Let's just say this was my destination. And I'm trying to get up here to this left corner. Now remember now, we all knew that it was going to take some thought, which meant that I was going to have to journey alone on this. I'm going to have to think. It's going to put some effort from me. But see, what we want is we want God to just pick us up and carry us on through the maze and not have to do our part. And that is not how it works. It's taking some thought. Now, I've had to go back because I've had to go realize I was wrong in some things. So I've had to turn around and I've had to go back. I ran into some dead ends. I was actually able to look ahead and see some dead ends. That's all part of life. That's all part of life. If y'all will allow me to encourage you this morning. Unfortunately, that is all part of life. That is the reason why it behooves me how people are ashamed of mistakes that they made. There is an element of shame. There is a spirit called shame, an emotion called shame. But it is not one that I feel like we should allow ourselves to become so familiar with. No. And the reason being is because it is a part of life. I think everybody goes through it. I don't believe there is nobody that could hit this thing and just hit it just right except for the manufacturer, the one that designed this maze. Those of us that have to journey this thing called life to get through this maze, even though we may have access to the maker and the creator of this maze, he's still not just going to give it to us like that. Because why would he just give it to us like that? With no effort from us. With no type of responsibility, nor respect or restraint from us. Why would he just give it to us like that? Must Jesus bear this cross alone and all the world go free? I'm asking a question.
No, ma'am.
Surely if there's one for him, there's one for little Delphine Lee.
Angela too.
So then I have access to the creator. I have access to the CEO. But there is still some requirements that he requires of me that I have to do in order for me to get to the destination of where I want to go. And there are obstacles that shows up in my pathway. Some obstacles may be people. People can be obstacles. If you don't believe me, the Bible talks about being a stumbling block or a rock of offense. People can be obstacles. There are people that can allow themselves to be assigned by the enemy to stop a destiny. Because more than likely, that's what happens. When you look in the book of Galatians in chapter 5, it said you did run well. But who hindered you? It didn't say what. It said who hindered you. Then it talked about being bewitched. So in an understanding of that, so that y'all know exactly what it is saying to you, and that is you have to really be careful and not allow certain things to get into your psyche, to get over into your emotions, to mess you up, because it can bewitch you. There are, conversations and all things that gets over into the membrane. It can alter the thoughts in the direction to which we are traveling. And so it says it can bewitch you. And so it knows that it is a dead end up ahead. But what it does is that it eliminates your ability to discern. So you're not able to discern anymore. You don't know the difference between right and wrong anymore because you've been dulled. You've been dulled by the emotions, by what I feel, by what, it's hit me in my place of desire. Now, this is one of the things that I want y'all to understand, because I have to use this as an example so that you know, because you can teach this to other people. I feel like we've all bombed at it. I'll just be honest with y'all, because all of us have had sex out of wedlock, all of us on here. So I feel like we've bombed at it, but we can teach the other generations and the other people. This is why he said not have sex before marriage, because it dulls the senses to the ability to be able to discern. Because what it does is it lodges you into a place of emotion. I like it. I like it becomes a natural. It's not an agape love, which is what a covenant is supposed to be. A covenant is an agape love, because in a covenant you don't move. Whether it is, that's why a marriage is a covenant, because in a covenant it is better and worse. It is sickness and health, richer and poor. It's not an or. It's not an or. I've told all my single people, when y'all get married, do not let those people speak that and over your marriage. I've already given y'all insight on that. Now you can try it if you want to and see what happened. And that richer, that don't let them put that or over you. Put that and in there now, because if they say better or worse, when a circumstance comes, you're gonna be trying to make a decision on whether you need to get out of there or not. But if you say and, you gonna understand that, hey, it's done got tough in here, but I'm gonna ride this thing out, because you got that and. So it is a covenant, is an agape love, which means that there is nothing that can separate this love. That is a scripture. I wish I had time to find all this for y'all, but that is a scripture. You should have a notepad to jot what I'm saying down. If you want the scripture, you can look it up. Just Google the words that I am saying. It says that nothing shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus. That is agape. Now, when you talk of phileo, which is the Philemon love, it is the type of love that is emotional. It is tangible love. It comes from a touch and a feel. And that is the reason why he said, don't do it now before you enter into a covenant. Because if you do it before you enter into the covenant, you're going to be blind, and you have the potential to grab hold of something that you maybe should not grab hold of, because you've now been touched, and your discernment has been, the senses of your discernment has been they've been tampered with. You messed up because you don't see it. Well, I like it, but was it God's will? But I like it. Why? Because I felt the touch. I felt the touch. So in the midst of all, it causes a situation. So when you look at life and look at life as a maze, because basically, I'm serious, that's what we are doing. We are traveling, sojourning, the Bible says, through this thing called life, to get from here on this earth to this place of eternity, this state of an eternal state, as to where we are consistent in who we are and what it is that we do. Now, the eternal state can be mastered here on earth. It is not something that you have to wait until the sweet by and by. It can be mastered here on earth. You can love people in an agape way, in an unconditional way. It just requires some things, but you can do it. I'm going to give y'all an example of well, no, I'm going to ask y'all, because I like for the class to participate. Tell me something that you have to have in order to have agape love. Something that y'all think that you have to possess in order to have agape love. Listen at the word.
Forgiveness.
Oh, she hit it. Oh, baby, survey says the whole, look at that. Number one fail right there. That's number one. That is number one. You're going to have forgiveness in order to walk in agape love. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to have forgiveness. And sometimes the forgiveness is forgiving yourself. That counts too. You're gonna have to have it in order to have agape love. When you're dealing with phileo, when you're dealing with that love, the touchy feel love, then if the touching and the feeling stop, the feelings is gonna stop. But if it is agape, then it will continue, and it will continue to travel. It's not gonna stop. It's gonna continue the journey, regardless of what. I feel the Holy Ghost, y'all. Regardless of what is going on, God, I love you. It is not. I feel God. It is not going to stop. It is going to continue regardless of what is going on, because it understands that there is a destination in view. There is a destiny in view, even to the point of, even to the point of what we call the afterlife. Y'all know, as humans, we are big in what we call with this afterlife stuff. We know how we say, till we meet again. We say that to people that have passed on, our loved ones. We, tend to say that till we meet again. I'm not 100% on that, because I have to do some more research, but there was something, that makes me wonder, according to scripture in the Bible, as to whether we will even know each other in that state. Again, however, I wonder if you gonna really want to know. You might think that, you know what I'm saying, that you do. You may think that you do, because there are people that are dear to your heart. Like, for instance, if a parent has passed on or whatever, there's somebody, well, I want to see my mama again. I want to see my daddy again, or I want to see, the child that someone may had to bury. I can understand and talking, finessing the psyche to think that, yeah, I want to see them again, or however the case may be. so I can see where that will come from, but I'm still yet to explore to find out whether that is scripturally correct. Maybe some of you can look that up to see, if you would like to see whether that is scripturally correct. And the reason I say that is because there is a lot of things that have been taught out here that is just sure enough not in the Bible. It is just sure enough not in the Bible. It is not according to what the scripture has said, but it has came from an emotional place because someone chose to want to change the word of God in order to fit what they were dealing with at that current time. It just seems better to be able to tell myself that I'm going to see them again. Maybe that gave an element of peace in me, being able to cope with what has happened as far as the passing away of a loved one. But really, in actuality, what is the true nature of what the Bible says about what would happen? I'm saying this to y'all because we have to be in a realistic place of what does the book say. What has he left in the book to say to us about things, not what we have convinced ourselves. I'm very, very hard on pushing that to onto y'all for y'all to understand, because there is an element of us that will shift some stuff to accommodate ourselves. Anybody willing to tell the truth and say you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We will shift some stuff, y'all, and that is just the God in heaven truth. Now, there is a saying, I'm going to say this, and I want somebody to finish this for me. If we take one step,
He's going to take two.
Is that in the Bible?
Take two.
It's not.
That's not even in the Bible, y'all. It's not. That's not even in the Bible. In the nativity scene at Christmas, how many wise men do you normally see in a standard nativity scene? Anybody ever paid any attention to that?
Is it 7?
Say it again. I had 2 of y'all.
3.
It's not 7. The people that
3.
said 3 is 3.
3.
The Bible does not say 3 came. It says, and wise men came from afar. It doesn't say whether it was a pack of them or whether it was 3 of them. But man chose to put a number on it. So how about if the Bible was saying unlimited number of wise men come? And let me show y'all what I'm gonna give you an analogy. They were bearing gifts. They were coming with frankincense, gold, and myrrh to lay upon this treasured child. So how much treasure, what's the difference in 3 wise men coming and let's just say 100 wise men coming? Which would bring the greatest treasure?
The 100.
100. So do you see how you can limit yourself by saying 3 when God wanted to give you 100?
Yes, ma'am. By false doctrine.
So now do y'all understand why it says, do not add to nor take away from my word? I feel God. Do not add to nor take away from my word, it says, because there is a potential threat when you do that. Now, I'm going to go back to the vows that we read when we get married, just so that y'all know those vows as they are read are not in the Bible. That is a traditional collaboration of words that was given. I'm not sure who originally originated it, but so I will say to y'all again, just to help you understand and to be able to provide some security over your marriage. That's why you have to be careful who you be letting marry. You see, most folks just think that I just go get married. Okay, you can just go get married. All right, you can just do that. And not be careful of who you allow to pronounce over you of what to say, because now that y'all understand what I just said about the better and worse, or versus the better or worse? Which one, if there were two people standing there and one was going to say better or worse and another was going to say better and worse, which one would you rather have?
Let me go with the and.
Okay, I got one person want an and.
And
All right, I got the ands. See, because you understand that the and joins your covenant together. The and brings the two into one. So how about if just that little one principle is enough to save marriages from now on out? I wish y'all heard God this morning. I wish
said it brings that threefold cord into perspective, because the and is literally intertwining what is supposed to be done.
It's connecting it.
Right.
So
keeping it together, not giving you a choice.
Exactly. So I got peanut butter and jelly.
You got a choice down there.
No, you don't have a choice with and.
You don't have a choice with and. You don't have a choice with and.
And
I got peanut butter and jelly, which means I got both of them. But
So
if I say I got peanut butter or jelly, what do I have then?
you got a choice. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Choice. I got a choice. So then that's what I'm saying to you. If somebody got their phone on speaker or something, I was echoing. Okay, it sounds like it got back right. So that is the difference. Just to make sure that y'all understand that. That is the difference. You got your hand raised, Rika?
Yes, ma'am. So, like, it reminded me when I bought my first vehicle, or however, and the title said, and me and my mom. And then, it said, or. It said, and two different vehicles, one and one said, or. And it was given a clear understanding that if you had or in there, then either person can sell the vehicle without the other person. But if it said and, then it takes both signatures to sign off.
That's right.
That's fair. That's even right. With, like, dealing with, just like with the things with Daniel, things that had or in it, I had to go another route. But anything that had and, it was like a smooth transition. But the or, you had to go through the different channels to get things situated.
Exactly. So y'all understand the difference. You would be surprised just how much of a difference in one word.
Yeah, it changes everything, and it keeps you from being into broken oaths and contracts, because those got leaks in the foundations if not properly stated.
Exactly. So it's very important, because you can get caught up with just one word. One word. So let me see if all right, so right here it's on the screen. I'm going to show y'all. This is Deuteronomy chapter 1. And, as I told y'all, I'm talking about the journey to freedom. Deuteronomy chapter 1, and starting at verse 1, it says, "These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel." Not half of Israel, but he's speaking to all of Israel. It is imperative that everybody listens. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. "So these be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan, this side Jordan, in the wilderness. Remember I told y'all, we're not at the Red Sea anymore. We're crossing the Jordan. The Jordan is the dirty place, because the Jordan is the river where all of the feces, all the mess was cast into, because the next place after the Jordan is the promised land. So that is the reason why God is dealing so hard with us right now about the things that we need to fix. The personality issues. Boy, I've been cussing the past 3 days, y'all, like a fool. Lord, please. I had to ask God, Lord, please, I'm sorry. Just frustrated with so much stuff overwhelming me. I'm like, God, please forgive me. Lord, Lord, help me with this. And that's, so we're being confronted with some things because of the simple fact, the promised land, I told y'all, was it Sunday? It's just right around the corner. And I pleaded with y'all saying, please don't do nothing you don't have any business. If you can afford it and to keep yourself without doing anything that you ain't got no business, please don't. Not right now, y'all. Not right now. It's too imperative, because your blessing is just right around the corner. It's just right there. It ain't that far away. I'm going to show y'all it's not that far away, but you can mess it up and make it be far away. I'm about to make this thing plain this morning now. All right. He's speaking to Israel. He says on this side Jordan, they ain't crossed over yet. They got to get cleansed. They're in the wilderness, which is the place of stripping, or it is the place of revealing. The wilderness reveals all this stuff that's on the inside of us. So you're going to see the nastiness. You're going to see, trauma places that's still there. You're going to realize the unforgiveness that's right there once you get to the Jordan. All of that stuff is going to show up. You're going to see that, dang, I've been mad at them for years. I really didn't like what they did. All of that is going to start coming up, and it's fine. It's okay. Just go ahead and let it come on up. Just don't run from it now. Don't retreat. Don't back down. Don't try to hide from it or nothing. Just come on out with it. You know what I'm saying? I cussed out 10 people. Go on and tell the truth. You cussed out 10 people. We just going to ask the Lord to forgive you for cussing out them 10 people, and pray that reconciliation can come between you and them 10 people, but also that them 10 people know they shouldn't have did something that they did. They got their butts cussed out. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we gonna pray about this. But we ain't gonna condemn each other. We not gonna whoop each other about it. None of that. We just gonna believe God, because the Bible says only with these pure hands, these clean hands is going to be the pure in the heart, are going to be the ones that shall see the Lord. So just, it doesn't matter about the mistake. What makes the mistake clean and what makes the heart pure is when there is an acknowledgement of the mistake and there is honesty about it. Now remember what the Bible says. I want y'all to, it's this one in you as to where it does not ever leave you as long as you live. A man that covers his sins will not prosper. I want y'all to let that scripture rest in you now. That covers his sin will not. Don't do that. Don't throw no cover over it. Tell the truth about it. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Be honest about what's going on concerning it. So now Israel is on a journey to freedom, and so are we. And so Moses steps up as a leader to them on this side of Jordan. They ain't made it over yet now, but they on the brink of going over, but they ain't made it over yet. You on the brink of the greatest breakthrough of your life, but you ain't made it yet now. You on the brink of the greatest financial position that you would ever be in, but you haven't gotten there yet. There are still some things that God has got to work out. There is no coincidence that God started dealing with me about being a life coach, y'all, and started dealing with me about presenting trauma and all trauma healing to people and all. I'm telling you, it's a lot of folks, including some of y'all, that has missed it because you should have made the sacrifice in order to get in so that you can heal from some stuff that is trying to keep you from getting to the next place. I'm going to leave it at that now. I know what God done told me. I know. I fight every day to make sure that I do not hold resentment against people and against anybody that does anything. I recall yesterday sharing something very intimate with Neat about someone that I make sure that I know God has used as an instrument to help me with loving like I'm supposed to. Because they ain't supposed to be loved the way that I love them for real. There is nothing that they've done. There is some good, but there is a lot of bad that was done that could have warranted me to just say, I hate you. I have nothing for you, but I do not feel that way. I don't think that way, don't even speak that way as it relates to them. So I'm telling y'all, gotta get it. It's gotta go from what you feel, and it's gotta turn to agape, where it's not wavering. It's unconditional, and if all you can give it to is your family, you ain't got it. If all you can do is, I love my children like that, you better go on somewhere. Get back now, because you ain't got it. You ain't got it. It should be some folk that is no blood to you, that you got some agape for. And all, that's when you are operating in the love of Christ. And I'm not talking about somebody that's jugging in you neither. That ain't agape in that aspect either. So Moses steps to them. They're on this other side of Jordan. They ain't crossed over yet. And it says in verse 1 here, in the plain over against the Red Sea. I want y'all to pay attention to the strategicness of this. They are now against the Red Sea, which was the first obstacle that they had to get through. The first obstacle was them getting to Christ. The second obstacle is them getting in Christ. The first obstacle is you getting to this place. The second obstacle is you getting through this place. Letting Christ be in you, the hope of glory. Letting him be formed on the inside of us is the second place. It is one thing to acknowledge, yeah, I made it to God, but did God make it in you? Because that's the next place. That's the crossing of the Jordan. God making it in me. The Red Sea is me making it to God, but the Jordan is God making it to me and living in me, just transforming me. So they're now against the Red Sea. They done got through that part where they done seen that it is the Lord's doing that has brought us out of Egypt. It really is God. We thought Moses was playing games, but we see that it really is God that by us getting past this Red Sea. It says between Paran and Tophel and Laban and Hazeroth and Dizahab. So these are places, y'all. You can go on and say Kinston, Op, Elba, Andalusia. You put them names in there, whatever makes you feel good to understand it, so you don't forget it. Sometimes that's what I have to do. I have to substitute it so I know this is how I talk to myself, so that y'all understand the analogy of how I do. It may not be how you do it, but do it how it works for you, so you remember it. I see right now that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 5 places that were against this Red Sea that they had to travel in order to get to another place. So if I can't remember those names, I'm going to give me 5 cities that I can remember. That helps me with the number 5. And I'm also going to remember grace. So that stays in my head to know that this is a journey. Remember, I told y'all we on a journey to freedom. So now verse 2 says this right here. There are 11 days journey. I want y'all to remember that. There are an 11 days journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Seir unto Kadesh Barnea. 11-day journey. This is all they got to travel. They got to pass through these places. leaving from coming out the Red Sea to getting across this Jordan. It is an 11-day journey, and the promised land they'll find themselves in. I told y'all it's just right around the corner. An 11-day journey, but baby, verse 3 says, and it came to pass in the 40th year, Lord have mercy, in the 11th month, and on the first day of the month, and Moses spake unto the children of Israel according to all that the Lord had given him in the commandment unto them. Anybody see how long them folks let that take?
Yes.
How long did it say?
11.
It was
40
supposed
years.
to be 11,
40.
but how long did they let it take?
40th year. 40.
So, supposed to be 11 days. But we done sit here and fought for 40 years. Verse 4 says, and he had slain Sihon, the king of the Amorites, which dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, which dwelt at Ashtaroth in Edrei. So Moses done took care of some folk. On this side Jordan, pay attention, on this side Jordan in the land of Moab began Moses to declare this law, saying, now, this is the point I want y'all to understand, because this is the part that I want y'all to listen to me really, really, really good. I love y'all, but I ain't trying to be Moses. So you got to understand, Moses was stuck with them people too. I can't do it. Bust me out of here, God. I love y'all, but I got to go. If I had to subtitle this, this is what I tell y'all. I love y'all, but I got to go. I can't be fighting with y'all 40 years. Because you don't want to listen to what God is saying. You don't want to move. You don't want to shift. Like God is, I can't do it. I'd rather for the Lord to take me on somewhere. Because I want y'all to notice, Moses was stuck too. Although he got some victories while he was in that land. If you look and see, verse 4 tells you that he slain the Amorites, the king of the Amorites. He took down some things and he got some victories. But that wasn't the ultimate victory the Lord had set. The ultimate victory was for them to get to Canaan, which was the promised land. So allow me to say to y'all, don't get so caught up in just the little small things when God trying to give you some big things, some greater things. Don't throw such a party over $20 when God trying to give you $2,000. Don't throw such a party over $2,000 when God trying to give you $200,000. Tell him thank you, but see if there was actually more that was entitled to you. I ain't finished reading. So it says, on this side of Jordan, verse 5, in the land of Moab began Moses to declare this law, saying, the Lord our God spake unto us in Horeb, where it all started, saying, you done dwelt long enough in this mountain. Anybody willing to tell the truth and say you done been here long enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Amen. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Good God Almighty.
So you done been here long enough now. You done been dealing with these same issues long enough. Why do you keep going back in that hole? You done dealt with it long enough. The answer done came several different times, but you still retreat back in the same thing. Verse 6 says, no, verse 7 says, turn. What is that next word, y'all?
You. Turn you. You.
So whose responsibility is it?
Mine.
It ain't mine. It sure ain't mine, so get it off of me. Get the responsibility off of me, y'all. I got my own turns. I'm just the leader, but I'm making turns too. I'm actually just a voice. You got to understand that all a leader is a voice. All a leader is a voice. A leader is not a weight bearer. A leader is a voice. That's the reason why you're supposed to be able to hear. The Bible tells you not to be dull in your hearing. And it tells you not to be dull in your hearing because you're supposed to be guided by a voice. Do you physically see God? Yes or no?
No.
But what do you have concerning God?
Voice.
Say it again, Neat.
Voice.
His voice. That's right. So you are governed by your hearing. So that's what a leader does. A leader speaks and you should hear. But it is not for them to carry you. You turn, it says. You turn away from that stuff. You tell that stuff no. I ain't got no business coming in there telling it no. You tell it no. Turn you. And somebody read the next few words that it says. The next 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 words that it says. Turn you and what?
Take your journey.
Whose journey?
Mine.
It's your journey.
Our journey.
It's your journey. And then it says, and go to the mount of the Amorites, and unto the places nigh thereunto, in the plain, in the hills, and in the vale, and in the south, and by the seaside, to the land of the Canaanites, and unto Lebanon, and unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So he's given all the different places where we will end up. Some in the hills, some in the plain. Some will be in the south, some will be by the seaside. Verse 8. Behold, I have set the land. Where did he put it? What that next word is?
Before.
I've set it before you. Think back to the maze. Everywhere that you travel, is it in front or is it behind you when you're traveling?
In front.
So I've set the land before you. It's in front of you. The next thing he says to do is what? What's the next part of this verse?
Go.
Finish it. Go in what?
To the mount of the Amorite.
No. Verse 8.
Okay. Go in and possess the land, which the Lord swore unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them.
Exactly. So What should we be doing right about now? Should we be
Possessing the-
standing still or should we be going in?
taking action and going in.
Going in, possessing the land.
Which the Lord swore unto your fathers, and we are the seed of Abraham. We are the seed of Abraham. And Abraham is one of the fathers that is named in there. Isaac and Jacob is just his lineage. Isaac was Abraham's son, Jacob was Isaac's son. So he says there are some things that belong to you. There are some things that is yours. Go possess the land. But I'm still caught up in what my mama did. Is that possessing the land? Yes or no?
It's not.
I'm still caught up in my divorce.
No.
Is that possessing the land?
No.
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 I'm still worried about what the white people, as black folks say, doing to us. Is that possessing the land?
No.
So now allow me to ask y'all this. Do you actually think that someone can stop you from possessing the land God has given you?
No.
No.
They might can, but you can. They might can't stop you, but you can stop yourself. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Someone does something to offend you. Their offense takes place. They go on about their business. You become locked up in it. Who is being stopped?
Me, the person. Me.
The person.
You stopping yourself.
So they can't stop you, but you can. There is a land that you possess, both physical and spiritual. There is a land that you possess that the Lord your God has sworn unto you. Do you care to have it, to possess it? Do you care?
I do.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
If you care to possess it, then there are some things that has to take place. Do not prolong your journey. It was only scheduled to be 11 days. It's just right around the corner. Don't allow the things that are coming up to not come up and out. Don't allow the things that are coming up to not come up and out. They are coming because they need to come up and out. Don't go back to anything of what you were. Please don't. Anything prior to this moment of where you are right now, don't retreat back to that. I need y'all to hear me. I just felt the power of God just then. anything of where you were, don't go back to that. Don't do it. You're in an open window right now. You're under an open heaven right now. There is the steady hand of God moving and guiding to the next place. Let whatever needs to come up and out, let it come. I'm telling you, let it come. Because if you don't, you're going backwards. You're going to backslide. You're going to backslide. And you're going to backslide because your image is going to make you backslide. Because you want to be seen a particular way. You want to be, acknowledged by people a particular way. And you're not willing to be honest about the place where you are because you're too worried about what folk going to think about you. And it's going to take you back to a backslidden condition. And you're going to miss this move. You're going to miss this major shift. Will the shift come again? Yeah, they come they come again, but God does it in intervals, and nobody knows when God is going to do it. If you look all throughout the Old Testament and throughout the history of mankind knowing anything about God, you don't ever know when God is going to move. That's why when he shows up, he says he's coming as a thief in the night. Because you do not know when God is going to move. And there are times when God visits the earth. And there are times that he sits. And we are in a timing where God is now visiting the earth. And he has to visit the earth right now because the earth is in a place of chaos. It's in a state of chaos. And so he has to visit in order to preserve what is his. So it is very critical to be in the Father's care right now. But if you find yourself retreating back, I wish y'all heard God. If you find yourself retreating back and being anything that you were, you're going to backslide. You heard me say it. You can say, well, she don't think she should say stuff like that. She prophesying. No, I'm telling you what it's going to be. You're going to backslide. That's what's in your past. What you used to be. And you're going to retreat back to that. And you would be nothing but backslidden. Including me. You're going to have to allow it to come up and to come out. I would encourage y'all as hard as I can. You might better get you some. If you're dealing with trauma, you might better get to me. If you need some strategy, you might better get to me. You want to try to sacrifice the same way you would sacrifice for McDonald's, and just sit down in a week's time and look at what you spend that you don't have to have. And it probably would have took care of a trauma session for you. I'm quite sure it probably would have taken care of a coaching session for you to help you to get to where it is that you need to be. Because when you look at the scriptures here, Moses was having to coach them out. And that's what a voice does. A voice coaches you out. You're going to have to learn to hear. And you're going to have to learn to obey what you hear. I am not physically coming. I will show up with certain times and certain intervals, but I still show up with my voice whenever I show up. It's still my voice. If I come and sit by, if you go into the hospital and I come and stand by your bedside, I'm still only bringing my voice if you really realistically look at it. Now, my presence is there, And presence does make a difference because we like presence. That's the natural side of us. It likes presence. But I'm still bringing my voice because if you are on a ventilator or if you are hooked all up to machines or what have you, I can't physically move you. I can only speak to you, and you have to hear what I am saying to you and allow that to enter into you to jumpstart the faith that you need. Do y'all understand what I just said?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So I did not tangibly pick you up and just unhook you from some machines. Because God knows if I could have, I'd have did that for Daniel. But the voice makes a difference. And the voice makes a difference because I heard him say, Pastor Lee, what you think? You got to learn to listen to the voice. Get away from that tangibleness needing to be babysat. About to make one of the most pivotal turns to transition. From a natural state to an eternal state. And what Pastor Lee said made that big of a difference. I can't mess up, y'all. I can't mess up. I love y'all. I gotta